Hi guys, welcome to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and it is in fact a beautiful Thursday morning. All right, I'm so excited to be here because we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, and I'm super excited because I get to share my thoughts and opinions with you. So don't be shy to text me and let me know what your thoughts and opinions are as well. All right, now you can text me on 078-52473-473. You can call me on the exact same number as well. So don't be shy because I'm not going to bite. Just make sure you text me and tell me what you're thinking, what your thoughts are with regard to everything that we're going to be talking about. All right. And before we actually head into the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, be a part of the show. All right. All you need to do is just follow us on our socials, because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well. All right. So make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to let me know what your thoughts and opinions are. And also don't forget to download our app either, because that's available for download on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. All right. And that way you can actually make sure that you're always listening into the conversation from anywhere you are in the world at any time of the day. So don't forget to do that. And now let's actually head into our conversation, because we're going to be talking about breast cancer, right? We're going to be talking about if aspirin could actually be the answer to aggressive forms of breast cancer. All right. So that is what the conversation is about. Now, I want to very quickly, talk to you about cancer and breast cancer, especially because breast cancer happens to be, the most commonly found cancer here in the United Kingdom, right? And the reason you can actually find it a lot here in the United Kingdom is because there are so many people that have been exposed to different kinds of things, and that is exactly why they end up with breast cancer. All right, now make sure you stay tuned, because right now we're gonna head into a small break, and after that we will be back to discuss this more. But until then, make sure that you stay tuned, because I'm super excited to be here and share my thoughts and opinions with you.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're riding? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, mainly one because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. That's very important, right? Because you want cars,
very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on here, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick.
Welcome to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and I am super excited to be here because we were just starting our conversation about breast cancer. Why exactly aspirin could potentially be the treatment for breast cancer, and why exactly that is important. All right, so make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to share your thoughts and opinions with me, because I would love to hear absolutely anything and everything that you have to say with regard to breast cancer, with regard to all of the things that are happening here in the United Kingdom. All right, so don't forget to share your thoughts. Don't forget to share your opinions, because I would love to hear what you have to say. And now let's actually head into a conversation, because like I said, we're going to be talking about breast cancer and why exactly this could potentially mean that a lot of women out there who suffer from breast cancer will actually have a lot of positive news. All right. So to actually get into this conversation, like I said earlier, breast cancer happens to be one of the most commonly found cancers here in the United Kingdom, right? Which means that there are so many women out there who actually are diagnosed with breast cancer. And obviously, we have to keep in mind that because of the pandemic, because of COVID-19, a lot of hospitals couldn't actually work the way they normally would, right? Which meant that a lot of people actually had their treatment delayed. They actually had to, even in terms of screening cancers and whatnot, a lot of those things had to be postponed simply because of the fact that, the pandemic happened and they couldn't go to hospitals, and that meant that their treatment got postponed. However, new research has actually found that aspirin might actually be a potential treatment for an aggressive form of breast cancer. All right. And I think that's absolutely amazing news, because aspirin is something that is commonly found, right? It's inexpensive, you can commonly find it anywhere, and it's easily accessible, right? And researchers actually hope that this, cheap and widely available drug could actually work very well when you combine it with immunotherapy for patients with triple negative breast cancer. All right. And now this trial that is currently being conducted is actually funded by Breast Cancer Now Catalyst program, which basically aims to speed up the progress in research through, innovation and collaboration. And it also happens to be the first clinical study to test if aspirin can actually make tumors more sensitive to immunotherapy. All right, so that is what they're actually trying, and I think that's absolutely amazing as well, because they're actually trying to make sure that moving forward, a lot of these patients actually have a better treatment. They have much more positive treatment, and that this could actually potentially make these tumors more sensitive to immunotherapy. All right, now this research is actually led by Dr. Anne Armstrong, and she's from the Christie NHS Foundation Trust in Manchester. And what they're going to do is they're going to trial this drug called avelumab, right? And they're going to trial this drug with and without aspirin, and before patients receive surgery and chemotherapy treatment. All right, and then they're essentially going to do a whole compare contrast situation and actually see how this is going to progress, and actually see how this might actually help people. All right, so that is the positive news with regards to breast cancer, with regard to breast cancer treatment. And Breast Cancer Now has actually said that successful results could actually lead to further clinical trials of aspirin and avelumab, and that could also probably help with the incurable secondary triple negative breast cancer, right? Which essentially works when you have cancer cells that started in the breast that spread to other parts of the body, right? And given the fact that this is something that a lot of women in the United Kingdom experience, given the fact that we do have a lot of women who are diagnosed with breast cancer for a year, this could actually mean life-changing news for a lot of these women, right? And that's absolutely positive news, and that is what we do here on Relaks Radio. All right, and now we're actually going to head into a small break, so make sure you stay tuned, because after that break we will be back to discuss this more. So until then, make sure you stay tuned.
Cycling in London is not child's play. How to be a better cyclist. Listen to my show only on Relaks Radio. I'm Kevin. Join me every Thursday, 5 p.m. Look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I'm super, super excited to be here, because we're having a very important and even interesting conversation, I might add, with regard to, breast cancer, with regard to how aspirin is being trialed as a part of a potential treatment for cancer, especially when it spreads to the rest of the body. And that is why, it's absolutely amazing news, because this means that a lot of women's lives are going to be changed because of all of this treatment, right? And that in my opinion, I think that is something to be happy about today, something to be excited about, especially given the fact that there are so many women here in the United Kingdom that are diagnosed with breast cancer, and this treatment could potentially mean that a lot of these women actually get better treatment, and it means that then days will also be much, much longer, right? So that is what we're talking about now. Make sure to get in touch with me and text me or call me on 078 Share your thoughts, share your opinions, because I would love to hear what you have to say. And obviously, don't forget to go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, because that will also help you, always stay updated about what we talk about. All right. And something else that you can do is to download our app, because it's available completely free on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about all of these things. Okay. And now let's actually head into our conversation, because, I said we're going to be talking about aspirin. We're going to be talking about how aspirin is going to help all of these women, and why exactly this new research might actually be, life changing. All right. That is what we are going to be talking about. Now, to actually get back into the conversation, now there are about 8,000 women who are diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer in the United Kingdom each year. And this is just, a specific form of breast cancer, right? So you can imagine in total, there are going to be so much more other women who are diagnosed with other different, types of breast cancer, right? Because obviously you have breast cancer, but that under that you have different types of cancers as well. All right. So right now there are about 8,000 women who are diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. All right. And it is actually less common, but it's oftenly a more aggressive type of breast cancer that disproportionately affects younger women and Black women. All right. So in terms of, younger women and Black women, they're actually at a much higher risk of getting breast cancer, especially, especially triple negative breast cancer. All right. And Armstrong, who happens to be Dr. Annie Armstrong, who obviously happens to be a consultant medical oncologist, she actually said that our earlier research, their earlier research has actually suggested that aspirin might actually be able to make certain types of immunotherapy more effective, right? And how that works is they make it more effective by preventing the cancer from making substances that weaken the immune response. All right. So basically, that's how aspirin works, and that's how it helps as well. And you're basically going to have all of these anti inflammatory drugs like aspirin that could hold the key to increasing the effectiveness of immunotherapy when you use it at the same time that immunotherapy goes along as well. Okay. So when you trial a drug like aspirin, obviously it's exciting because, like I said, it's so widely available and it's so inexpensive. People can easily access it, right? This is not some form of medicine that is very expensive and people in only certain countries can access it, right? This research means that it can probably save lives even in other parts of the world. And I think that's absolutely amazing news as well. Okay. Now, something else that she had to say that was that about 8,000 women actually are diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer in the United Kingdom, right? And each year they face this frightening reality of limited treatment options, right? And that's just the truth. Sometimes, when it comes to cancers, when it comes to much more serious forms of cancers that are less common, there's only limited options of treatment, right? And that, that's obviously a problem that the health system is struggling with right now. However, keeping that in mind, it's also important that when there are limited options, for you to remember that that also means limited days and limited months for these patients who are diagnosed with breast cancer, right? So honestly, in my opinion, it's so scary. Like that diagnosis you get of breast cancer, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this can't be happening to me. And that's pretty much basically how everyone reacts, right? Even if you've had a family history of cancer, family history of breast cancer, the moment you get diagnosed with it, it's in fact, quite terrifying, right? So obviously the fact that there are in fact limited options for all of this is something that needs to be addressed, right? And like I said, research has already suggested that aspirin could improve the outcomes for many of these patients who are actually suffering from breast cancer, or rather triple negative breast cancer, right? And I think that's going to be very helpful to all of them as well. And it's absolutely amazing news. So I'm so happy that they're finally having much more, they're having much more ideas, much more options for with regard to treating aggressive breast cancer. All right, now make sure you stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break now, and after that we will be back to discuss more of this. But obviously until then, make sure you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you've got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be? So that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail.